Okay, so hello everyone. Nice to see you again. And today I'm going to teach you about chapter 4, lesson 1, which is related to finding percentage. And yesterday we already learned about finding percentage, but I take the video from YouTube to explain you. And today we are going to continue our lesson related to finding percentage. But before I start my lesson, I would like to remind you that please submit your classwork that I have assigned you to do yesterday because I only found a few students in each class who submit the classwork to me, but the other did not submit yet. So please submit your classwork to me. Okay, so let's continue to sorry. Okay, so let's continue to our lesson. Before I give you the extra exercise related to finding percentage, I just like to review what you have learned yesterday. So my question is that what is 15% of 500? So how do you find 15% of 500? Okay, so from the video yesterday, I think you know how to find it because as you know that 15% mean 15 over 100, right? So 15% mean 15 out of 100. So 15% of 500 mean 15 out of hundreds multiplied by 500. So that is 75. So it means that 15% of 500 is 75. Okay, so this is simply how to find the percentage. And then now we are going to solve word problem related to percentage, which is a little bit harder than this for today's lesson. Okay, so for today's lessons, I like to solve the exercise related to word problems on page 108. Uh, that exercise I take from exercise learn 1, page 108. So in here, the problem is that there were 60 people who were teased at a workshop. The number of the people who were teased was 15% of the total number of people. How many people were there at the workshop altogether? So I think several weeks ago I already explained you how to solve word problem. There are some steps in order to solve word problem. Do you remember what are they? Okay. So in order to solve word problem, first you need to understand the problem clearly. But in order to understand the problem clearly, I think if you read only one time, you might not be able to understand the problem clearly. So you have to read it several times until you understand. So yeah, let's read again in order to make sure that you understand the problem. There are 60 people who wore t-shirt at the workshop. The number of people who wore t-shirt was 15% of the total number. So that is the given information. As you know from the given information here, they said 60 people wore t-shirt at the workshop. And they also mentioned that 15% of the total number at the workshop were t-shirt. So what does it mean? How can you conclude from this given information? How do you uh, find the relation between the given information here? Okay, So let's see the diagram. From the given information here, they said that 60 people who were t-shirt at the workshop, and also 15% of the people were t-shirt. So it means that 15% of the people is 60 people. 15% of the total number is 60 people. That's why the diagram here, um, they draw the whole box here is 100%, which means represent for the total number of people. And among that, they draw a small box here. Yeah, it's 15%, and they put the number is 60 here. So it means that 15% of people is 60 people. 15% of people is 60 people. So what is the question? How many people were there at the workshop altogether? They want to know the total number of the people, right? So it means that they want to know 100% of the people here. So in order to find 100%, maybe this information, like 15% equals 60, is the very useful information in order to find the solution. Okay, so how do you find the solution after you found this model? Okay, let's go to the solution. Yeah, so the solution is that find the number of the people at the workshop altogether. And as I already mentioned earlier in previous slide, that the very useful information in order to solve that problem is that 15% equal to 60 people. So in order to find 100%, you might need to find 1% first. So 1% of people, you need to take 60 divided by 15. So that is 4 people. So now you know that 1% of the people is only 4 people. Then in order to find 100, you have to multiply it by 100. So 100% of the people, you have to take 4 multiplied by 100, that is 400 people. Okay, so totally there were 400 people at the workshop altogether. Next, that is exercise 2 that I took from hand-on activities. Actually, hand-on activities start from page 108, but that exercise it was in exercise C on page 109. So in that exercise, they said the cost of a book with 7% GST is 24.61 US dollar. How much does the book cost without GST? And okay, do you know what is GST? Okay, so GST is the good and service taxes that normally it's charged from the consumers by the government through the seller. So if you go to some of the company, some of the standard company or the book the good company is in Cambodia, you will found that they also charge GST from us. For example, if we buy if we buy some clothes, for example, if you buy 2 trousers and one trouser costs $30, so 2 trousers cost 60 US dollar. And then if they charge 7% GST, then the amount that we have to pay is not only 60 US dollar, it's more than that. Yeah, we need to calculate it. Yeah, I think you know how to calculate the percentage, right? But they charge us 7% more than the original price that we bought from the seller. And that amount it will given to the government through the seller. through the company. Okay, so in here, they said that the cost of the book with 7% GST is 24.61. So it means that uh, 24.61 here is not the cost of the book, but it's also include tax already, include GST already. So how much does the book cost without GST? So do you think that the price of the book is lower than 24.61 or higher than 24.61? Okay, so I'm sure that you understand this one. The price of the book is absolutely lower than 24.61 because 24.61 here we also include the tax. So if we minus the tax, then it will be lower than this. Okay, so let's draw the model. How do you draw the model? All right. Okay, so in here, I draw a box here, right? But the box here is different from the box that in the previous exercise. The longer box here, it represents for 100% of the price of the book. Okay, 100 of the cost of a book. And then the other small box here, it is 7%, another 7% that was charged because of GST. So now the total box is 107%. The total, okay? So the total here represents 107%. And also you also know about the price or the cost of the book in 107%, which is 24.61, right? Because 107% here, it also includes the cost of the book and GST. And 24.61 here, it also includes the cost of the book and GST. So that's why now the given information that is very useful in order to solve this problem is that you know 107% is equal to 24.61%. By using this information, can you find 100% of the cost of the book? Right, I think you will be able uh, to find it. So let's see the solution altogether. Find the cost of the book without GST here, right? Okay, sorry, I made mistake this one. Actually, not with GST, but without GST. Okay, so as I already explained you that the information given that is very useful for us is that 107% is equal to 24.61 US dollar. So how do you find 1%? In order to find 1%, you have to take 24.61 and divide by 107. So the result is that 0.23 US dollar. So that is the result. So now we know that 1% is 0.23 US dollar. So we can find 100% by multiply 0.23 with 100. So the result will be $23. Okay, so the book costs $23. That is the answer. Okay, so I hope you understand the problem here, and thank you very much. That's all for my lesson today. See you tomorrow, everyone.